Welcome to the deep dive. We're kicking off today with a really big question, one that probably hits home for a lot of you listening, especially if you're in public service trying to make things better. How can governments actually get more efficient, more responsive, and, really meet citizens' needs in this world that's changing so fast? Well, what if there was a powerful new tool that could fundamentally change how public services work, how policies get made? That's what our deep dive is about today. The evolving, sometimes tricky role of artificial intelligence in government. We're basing this on a really insightful article that looks at real applications happening now, not just future ideas, but also flags some pretty important warnings.
That's right. So our mission here is to really unpack how AI is already shaping public services.
Mm.
We're talking everything from simplifying rules to drafting policy, even touching the justice system. The idea is that you, whether you're a public servant looking at innovation, maybe here in Canada or elsewhere, or just a curious citizen, you'll come away understanding these big shifts, the huge potential, yes,
Mm.
but also the very real risks involved.
Okay, let's unpack this then. When we talk about AI in the public sector, what problem is it really trying to solve? Is it just about saving money, or is it more about overall government effectiveness and how that impacts people?
Well, it often starts with efficiency, that's true, but it
Yes.
definitely goes beyond just cost cutting. A really good example, a leading one, is happening in Virginia right now. Governor Glenn Youngkin put out an executive order. It basically tells AI to go through all the state's regulations and guidance documents.
Okay. And the goal?
The main purpose is to flag rules that might be unnecessary, redundant, and then suggest ways to streamline them, make them clearer, simpler. And what's really interesting is this isn't coming out of the blue. Virginia already had success with this manually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they actually cut their regulatory requirements by 25%. I was through some really painstaking manual review led by Reeve Bull at the Office of Regulatory Management. Hard work. So the AI isn't meant to replace that human effort, but to basically supercharge it, scale it up, speed it up.
Right. So you can imagine what that could mean for public servants, maybe here in Canada too, dealing with our own complex rules. Or just for citizens trying to figure them out.
Exactly. The potential time saving,
Yeah.
the clarity, it could be significant.
That makes a lot of sense for existing rules, but you mentioned policy. Where does AI fit in before the rules are even set? Like in the development phase, this is where it starts to get really interesting, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Beyond just cleaning up old regulations, AI's probably got its most immediate potential inside the actual rulemaking process itself. There were some early worries, people thinking regulators would just be flooded.
Yeah.
Millions of cogent and entirely unique submissions was the phrase used on every new rule, just overwhelming.
Right, a data nightmare.
That hasn't quite happened on that massive scale, but AI tools are already being used. They're helping agencies sift through large numbers of public comments, pull out the key themes, understand the feedback much more efficiently. The Institute for Progress, for example, they built a database using these tools to analyze comments for the Trump administration's AI action plan. So it's happening.
Okay, analyzing feedback.
Yeah.
What about actually writing the rules?
That's the next step people are looking at. Rulemaking can take years, right? Partly because the language has to be so precise to survive legal challenges. So AI could potentially help generate initial drafts, maybe spot potential legal weak points, or even suggest clearer wording to avoid ambiguity down the line.
That could really speed things up. For
Mm.
public servants, think about that faster policy development cycles. And for citizens wanting to have their say, maybe it means your input gets processed and potentially integrated more quickly and effectively. It changes the dynamic.
It could, yeah. Faster responsiveness is definitely one of the big hopes.
Okay, so AI helps refine ordered rules, helps analyze input for new ones, maybe even helps draft them. What about even earlier, like predicting the impact before a rule is final, or watching over things once they are in place?
Good questions. And yes, those are two other major areas. First, impact modeling. AI can be used to model the potential effects of a proposed regulation. The author of the article we're drawing from actually did this, used large language models, the really powerful AI tech systems, to estimate compliance costs for new AI laws.
Instead of waiting months for an economic study.
Exactly. They got preliminary impact assessments in days. This lets regulators test out different approaches much faster, try to spot unintended consequences before the rule goes live. It's a huge potential shift from traditional methods.
Wow. Okay. And the second area, oversight.
Right. Proactive regulatory oversight. This is already pretty embedded in finance, where they call it subtech supervisory technology. The Cambridge Subtech Lab puts out a report, the 2023 State of Subtech Report. And it shows authorities worldwide using AI for things like finding patterns that suggest violations, predicting where enforcement might be needed, even real-time monitoring.
So not just checking in periodically, but continuous watching.
Precisely. It's a move away from reactive audits to potentially flagging issues as they happen.
Yeah.
And it's not just finance anymore. Think about environmental agencies. They're apparently looking at AI to monitor pollution, predict where compliance might fail.
This really feels like it could change how public services operate. Better, faster policy decisions could directly benefit Canadians if issues are caught early. And for those working in government, that proactive oversight, catching problems before they blow up, that could really improve services and compliance overall.
It's a powerful prospect, definitely.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about efficiency, speed, better analysis, but this power also comes with risks, right? Let's pivot to the more controversial side. AI making decisions that affect individuals, their rights, justice. This feels like where we need to tread very carefully.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is the critical edge. Where do we draw the line? I mean, you could see how AI could assist in administrative hearings or decisions, maybe routing cases, finding relevant precedents, even handling initial checks for straightforward things like a permit application that clearly ticks all the boxes.
Freeing up humans for the complex stuff.
That's the idea. Let the AI handle the routine, let humans focus on nuance and judgment. However, there's a big however, we have a really stark cautionary tale from the Department of Government Efficiency. ProPublica reported on this. They used an AI tool to review Veterans Affairs contracts.
And it didn't go well.
It went badly.
Yeah.
The system had serious technical flaws. It was using outdated models, apparently only looked at the first 10,000 characters of each contract.
Only the beginning.
Right. And crucially, it started hallucinating contract values. It wrongly claimed something like 1,100 agreements were each worth $34 million, when the real values were often much, much lower.
Oh, wow. What happened then?
Well, thousands of contracts got flagged, potentially for cancellation based on this flawed data. It even led to a lawsuit from the ACLU. It really highlights the dangers. AI making judgments, especially when it's opaque, potentially biased, or just plain wrong, that raises serious constitutional questions about due process, about fair and accurate decisions affecting people's rights.
That's deeply concerning.
And there's another area, sort of a blind spot in a lot of these discussions, the courts themselves. We hear about generative AI making up fake case citations in legal briefs. Scholars found like 125 instances of that. But maybe a bigger, more immediate threat is AI generating fake evidence.
Fake evidence, like what?
Think about it. The same tech that can make up a legal case can potentially create very convincing fake text messages, fake emails, maybe even fake contracts or documents. Things that could be submitted to a court as real.
That's alarming. The implications are huge. What happens if an AI makes a decision about your application, your benefits, your legal case? And for public servants, especially here in Canada, where trust in institutions is so vital, this just magnifies the responsibility. We absolutely need robust oversight, ethical guidelines, transparency, to make sure these tools actually serve Canadians fairly, not just make things faster.
Exactly. The fairness and accountability pieces are paramount.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it really feels like AI in government is this double-edged sword. Huge promise for efficiency, for streamlining, for potentially better services, but paired with these really critical risks that demand careful implementation.
That's the core message from the source material. Absolutely. Getting the benefits of AI means being incredibly meticulous about how it's rolled out, prioritizing accuracy, ensuring transparency, and safeguarding those fundamental constitutional protections. It's not just about whether the tech can do something, but whether it should, and how it fits with our values of fairness and justice for everyone, including all Canadians.
A powerful reminder.
And it leaves us with a really important question to ponder, I think, for everyone listening, whether you're inside government or interacting with it. As AI gets woven deeper into how government works, how do we as citizens, as public servants, make absolutely sure these incredibly powerful tools are always used for the public good, that they serve fairness and accountability first, not just efficiency? That's the challenge ahead.